That's good. You can just hear me. Cool. Uh, More of a sort of listening contributor rather than an audio.
So I think we're live now. I'm just double checking my channel. Yeah, so anybody that's watching this, give us just a minute.
I think this last week of MashUp is going to be probably the biggest challenge for you guys, isn't it?
Like from an administration thing?
Yeah, so many games.
Yeah, I've got it all pretty much set up in terms of formulas and so
This
forth.
last week of MashUp is going to be probably the biggest challenge for you guys, isn't it?
Like from an administration? Okay, cool. So this is working. Let me grab the post it here. Let's see. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got myself and Boiler Time on here. Very brief member players meeting. We don't expect a whole lot of you to join here live, but we've got Q Ball. Hey, Q Ball, do you mind going on mute? I'm getting a little bit of background noise, but got a couple guys in here. Just wanted to take a few minutes talk about how this member is going to work. If you've ever played in a member or member guest, it's pretty straightforward. But if you've not, it can be a little bit confusing. So we're just going to kind of roll through a few things here. The first thing that you're going to see on my screen is the SGT website. And let me get my windows laid out here correctly. So you can see that there are 5 matches loaded here. Match 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Every player is going to have 4 or possibly 3 of those matches loaded in GS Pro. And the way in which you will know which match that you're playing in is to go to this Google sheet that we've got. In fact, that's probably not, can't see the tabs down here at the bottom, but because I've truncated this, that was pretty dumb of me. Let me just a second. Doing some OBS magic here on the fly. There you go. So you can see at the bottom, member Augusta, member Valhalla, Pinehurst, or Royal Troon. So you find the flight that you're in. So let's say you're in the Augusta flight. Over here on the left side, you're going to see match 1. You're going to see match 2. You scroll down, match 3, match 4, and match 5. Okay. So you can either just search for yourself or look through this. So in match 1 at the Austin Golf Club, we've got Jarhead and Scuba playing against Keymart and BT McGraw. Okay. This column right here, column C, will show how much pops each player is getting. So this is a 90%, right? So Jarhead's getting 2 strokes, Scuba's getting 3, Keymart's the low guy in the group, and his partner BT McGraw's getting 5. Now you got to remember, we posted this. This is an 18-hole handicap, and we're only playing 9-hole matches. So in Jarhead's situation where he's getting 2 pops, he'd get a pop on index hole number 1 and index hole number 2. And odds and evens are on different 9. So in reality, he's only getting 1 pop per 9 holes. Scuba would get on 1, 2, and 3. So it comes down to whether or not 1 and 3 are on the front 9 or whether 1 and 3 are on the back 9. And in that case, he'd only get 2. That may sound really confusing. SGT, the website, will keep track of this. So let's go look at match 1 and take a look at how this gets administered. So you want to go to this net. Sorry, you're not seeing this on OBS. Try to resize this again quickly. So you want to go up here to the net button. When you click that, you're going to see this match here. Keymart's getting 0, BT McGraw's getting 5, Jarhead's getting 2, Scuba's getting 3, and then you can look at the index holes right through here. So this course, the front 9 are actually the odds. So Jarhead would get it on 2, Scuba would get it on only 2 as well, and BT McGraw would get it on 2 and 4. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So as you're clicking through, you can either go to the Google Sheet, right, or you can realize that you're playing in match 4, go into match 4, maybe find yourself, right? So you search for Boiler. Okay, so Boiler Time and I are playing against Clover Links Golf and BB Golf. Sorry, I shouldn't have clicked there. Okay, so find yourself in these matches and track yourself that way. Tim, is any feedback on that? Is that as confusing as can be, or any way we can
No, I
clarify
think
that?
that yeah, that sums it up, right? So it's all we did the caps on 90%. It's all fair. That's how it, will populate in SGT. So if you're confused, right, it just might have to do with the front 9 or the back 9 being odds and evens, why you feel like you're missing a pop or someone else is getting an extra pop. So believe me, we've gone through it and it's all legit. And Kyle did about as good a job as he can explaining why it, just because they're 9-hole matches, you're not gonna
Yeah.
see the full half of what you're deserving. But that's the same for everybody.
Yep. So I switched over here to Ohoopee Match Club, and you can see this front 9, the index holes are odd. So in this case, if you're getting 1 pop, you're popping on index 1. If you're getting 3 pops, you're popping on index 1 and index 3. It's the same way it's always worked. Just remember, it's only a 9-hole match. The next thing you need to know is that the way that the scoring works on this. So so it's best ball or 4-ball, whatever you want to call it. This is the Ryder Cup does this format, right? It's best ball. So if we are looking at what's on screen right here, Soupy, Paul G, T. Hayden, 96, and Ginzim. If Soupy gets a birdie and Paul gets a 4 or a par, then the team gets a birdie. And then if T. Hayden and Ginzim both get pars, then the Soupy Paul G team wins that hole as a team, birdie versus par, and they would get a full point for that hole. All 9 holes are worth 1 point. So you're either going to get 0 for the hole, 1 for the hole, or if you split the hole, you both get a half. So that's 9 total points across the 9 holes. A 10th point is then available for the team that actually wins the match. So if you win 2-1 or 3-2 or 4-3, there isn't much of that in 9 holes, but you would get that extra point. So here's the important thing. You need to play all 9 holes, even if the match is over after 7 or after 8, because there are meaningful points in those last couple of holes. And SGT actually will track that okay. Like even if it says 3-2, you can continue to play 8 and 9 and they will record the scores. It doesn't change the match, but it changes the points. I want to show you what that looks like in the Google Sheet. Okay, so let's go up here to this very top match. I'm going to start entering some arbitrary scores for this Jarhead, Scuba, Keymart, and BT McGraw. So let me say Jarhead gets a 4 on every single hole. That's actually kind of funny to say because he's such a good player. And let's say Scuba kind of gets a mix of like a 3, a 4, a 5, a 4, a 3, a 5, a 3, maybe throws in a 2 and a 5. Okay, you can see the team score here right now automatically captures the best score of all of those. So you can see it grabs Scuba's 3 here, it grabs Jarhead's 4 there, grabs Scuba's 2. And then let me do this for Keymart. So let's say, Keymart gets a bunch of 3s, 4s, 3s, 2, like a 4 here. And then let me fill in just some random scores for BT McGraw. So once I've done that, you can kind of see how this factors in. Right here at this point, it would say Jarhead and Scuba is getting 2.5 points, right? So they got a half a point on hole 1, 6, 7, and 8, and then 7.5 points for Keymart and BT McGraw. They would actually win this. So if I type in win here, they get a point. This team would lose here. So this would, in theory, be an 8-2 blowout. That actually is not going to happen very often, trust me. That's just because I was randomly typing in scores and I probably made just some stupid mistakes in there. But the other thing that is always happening in member guests and member members is that the maximum number of points that you can actually win is only 7. Even if you win all 9 holes and win the match, theoretically it would be a 10. But in order to avoid one blowout out of the matches in the flight skewing the entire results, these systems always cap this at 7. So if you look over here in the upper right now it's giving Jarhead and Scuba 2 and Keymart and BT McGraw an 8. This would actually be managed down to a 2 and a 7 like that. Okay. You don't give any extra points to the team that struggled, but we would cap that at 7 points. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense as to how some of the scoring works. The actual who wins what hole, all of that's actually going to be taken care of in SGT, so you can see that on the website, but the points are going to be handled here in the Google Sheet. Tim, any clarifications there? Or Gary, I know you're on. Any questions you have so far?
Nope, I think it's just important that cap at 7, even with the bonus points. So that's not a 7 plus a 1. That's either a 6 plus a 1 or a 10 goes down to 7. And then again, play all your holes so you can get your, maybe salvage a couple points.
Yeah.
My only
Go.
question, Kyle, is so if the maximum you can get is 7, but you win all 9 holes, that means that the opposition gets 0. So you'd get like a split of 7-0. So that's the most you can win and the most you can lose.
That's right.
Right?
That's very good.
The reality is it's going to be somewhere in between all of that, but that's potentially where you can score lots and lots of points. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Let me find something really quick. Maybe I can pop up here. Well, yeah, I probably can't do it so quick, but you're absolutely right, Gary. So you as a winner can only max out or can max at 7. But if you were to win, let's say all 9 holes and win the match, you would win 10-0. In reality, you win 7-0. So you are really hurting that other team by keeping them at 0. And
Sure.
but you just can't get to 10. It's just a way to keep the flights really tight, and it makes for great drama as you're heading in to the final match. I remember the first time I heard that. So I kid you not, like my very first match of our member guest that I played in last summer, we won 9-1, and I remember being really upset that we only won 7-1. It ended up working out. We ended up winning our flight, but it did create great drama. And had that not happened, a couple of flights would have been over and that last match wouldn't have even mattered. And what you don't want is for that last match to not matter, right? And so that's theoretically why the math works out to cap it to 7. Yep.
I get what you're saying.
Yep.
And just like from my point of view, essentially you've got to score as many points as you can over the 4 games or the 3 games you've got in your flight.
Don't give up.
And that's what's gonna make you top of the flight. Yeah.
That's right. Be relentless. Don't give up, right? Even if you think we're going to the 9th hole and we've already got 7 points, go try to win that hole because you want to keep your opponent from winning that point. Because if they win that point on the 9th hole, who knows down the road what could happen? That's absolutely right. Yep.
Yep. And you bring up a good point we haven't touched on is that it doesn't. There are mathematical ways where you could have not the best record in your flight, but have the best. You could have the best point total, which point total is all that matters.
Exactly.
It's very true point. Yep.
Yep. I'm good with that. I'll mute again.
Okay. We should talk about tiebreakers. I didn't post that in the post. I'll probably actually go back and modify that. So let's say we get to the end of all of this and 2 teams have like 27.5 points. The first tiebreaker will end up being head-to-head. So of those 2 teams, we'll go look at the match between those 2 teams and find out who won that match head-to-head. Okay, that's probably going to settle it, but maybe that match was split 5-5. Okay, if that's the case, I'm looking up for what we had decided as the tiebreakers here on my phone. Let's see. Tim, do you remember?
I'm trying to think, Kyle. I don't think we can. You can't have a 5-5 because you wouldn't. If you won 5-4, you'd get the 6th point, and if you couldn't have.
Is it impossible to be 5-5?
Did you have 4.5, 4.5? I suppose. It'd be 4.5, and the 10th point would go on you. So it is possible, I guess.
Well, let me just type like a 3 into every single one of these. I mean, it's got to be possible, right? You have every single hole and you have the match. Yep, there it is, 5 to 5.
4.5. So you would still give the half point
for the match. The
for
match can be the match can be halved if you get through
so
9
we're
holes.
giving that
Yeah,
point. Okay,
we are.
that's
Yeah,
one thing I wasn't clear on. Okay, perfect.
yeah. And we did talk about tiebreakers. I'm just trying to see what we settled on. I'll clarify it. Darn, I should have had this ready. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, my Discord keeps resetting on my phone. I will. I'll add clarification on that on the tiebreakers. But we're going to go to the head-to-head match first. I think after that, it gets to be a little bit more complex. But we probably end up looking at something. I think it was like maybe total number of holes won across all the matches, something like that. So we'll clarify that. Let's see. What else do we need to talk about here? I don't want to make this very long at all. I'm looking at the announcements here. So we talked, the deadline. We're giving everyone about a week and a half. We're going to try to end this by the end of the day next Thursday. So Thursday, the 21st. And if we can pull that off, then hopefully we can try to get the shootout scheduled sometime that weekend, like the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. If we get beyond that, I know in the United States for a lot of the Midwest and where I'm at and other people north of us, we start getting into spring break weeks. And so people might start disappearing. So we're going to try to do that. So about a week and a half. Everyone's got 36 or 27 holes. My recommendation is, like, if you're going to get together with your teammate, see if you can knock out a couple of matches in an evening. We play 18 holes all the time, right? So if Tim and I are partners, there's no reason why we can't go play match 1 and match 2 that same night, or maybe knock out all 3 or 4 of them. The caveat to that is if you can need to try to line up your opponents. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and I encourage you to try to set that up. Don't forget to stream. Everyone's got to be on camera. That's no different. However you want to do that, one camera, or sorry, one stream, multiple cameras, or individual streams. If we have any debate, any conversation, any disagreement, we're going to have to go back to the stream. And if it doesn't exist, then we're in trouble there. And if you're not playing together, then of course that's going to be crucial. I guess that brings up a good point, though, Tim. I hadn't thought about this. If you and I are playing right now, and we post our stream, our opponents then know what we shot. We hadn't thought about that.
We could allow private and direct message streams.
Yep.
So we could make an announcement about that you could, just because of the format, I think that's a good point, that you can withhold them as long as they're published, right? We'd either say as long as they're out there and they can be presented in the published date, right? We can go back and audit that, which I think is fine. Or it could be direct message to us, unless you're in our flight and you don't want us to know, which is fine. Well, we can work around that too, but I think we should allow a way to stream it, but not have to publish it to your opponents.
Yeah, I say private streams. You can do that in YouTube and OBS, and then if it's private, it doesn't get announced. You don't have to post it. When that match is done, then we should ask both teams to post their streams. Yeah, I think that's right. That's a little bit of a complex nuance we'll have to deal with, but we will announce that. Man, it's like we keep finding things. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, but Gary, you're right. There is a lot of little nuance administration. Another thing, you have 3 or 4 matches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever numbers that you've been assigned to. You do not have to play them in order. So if you find out that your partner and you can play against the opponents in match 5 tomorrow, go do that. Go knock that out. There's really no reason why you have to play 1 and then 2 and then 3. And it's important to note everyone is getting 1 bye because of the 5 teams. So in this match 1 here that's showing right now, you can see that Boiler Time and I actually have a bye in match 1. So we're not actually playing at Austin Golf Club, which I'm kind of bummed about. We did blind draws, so there was no preferential treatment. But then he and I are playing in match 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you scroll down to match 2, you can see Wilkes and Cue Ball have a bye. So Gary, you're not playing Bandon Dunes. So, okay.
Kyle, I've just got
Yes.
one question, buddy. When we load the games up from the tournaments in SGT, how is it going to be pretty straightforward to pick the right course, knowing who you got to go to the Google spreadsheet to find out who you're playing and then pick the right course, because we're going to have 5 games, one
Right.
of which is a bye.
So you will not see the one that you have a bye. So in your GS Pro, you will not see match 2 Bandon Dunes because you're not loaded into it. Okay. So that part's
Cool.
easy. But
Yep.
you do need to be careful, right? So if you have decided that you and Wilkes are going to play Clover Links and BB Golf together live, you need to find out that you're in match 1 at Austin Golf Club. Okay. So you can do that in the Google Sheet. You could also do that here, by poking around a little bit, go into match 1 and find out like who am I playing in match 1. So you could come here and find it as well. If I keep scrolling down, there you go. This one right here, Clover, BB Golf, Wilkes, and Cue Ball. So you do need to be careful with that. So if you're playing together, figure out what match number and what course, and that will show up for you in the same way you see them here. You will see MashUp, Season 0, or Season 1, member, Match 1, and it will say either Austin Golf Club or Bandon Dunes or Pine Needles. So there's lots of ways to double check that, but you need to be careful because if you're supposed to be playing someone in Match 1 and you go into Match 2, create a room, and have them join it, you guys are both going to be playing Match 2, but you're actually not playing each other in Match 2.
That would be it. The scores would count, but you would have played with another group that you weren't actually competing against. So,
in that match, yeah. So it will still work. Absolutely. Good call out, Tim. Yeah. Just like how you can go play the SGT or Pro Tour with somebody else, you can do that. You're not really competing against them. Yeah, that would be a nuance to try to avoid.
We'll figure it. I'm sure
Yep.
it's not too difficult.
Yep.
And hopefully we don't have anything like no breeze like we did last week.
Yeah. And by the way, course conditions are pretty consistent here. We've kept everything 11 stimp. We've not tried to be sadistic. We did try to pick a couple of different types of courses, an open link style, a wooded course, trying to give every player, whether you're super accurate or super long or whatever, a lot of variety. We tried to set conditions a little bit, like Bandon Dunes is known for being a pretty windy course, so we made it breezy. We didn't do anything stupid. We didn't do any like firm or hard greens. We didn't do any 12 or 13 stimps. So we're trying to keep this pretty fair for everybody. We also tried to pick pretty reasonable tee distances, everything about 6,000 to 6,300. So nothing really long, nothing super short. Trying to be fair here. So,
You've done a great job, guys. All right.
appreciate it.
I'm going to love you and leave you because I've got nothing more to add.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
you don't
Gary.
want to listen to me this time of night. So thank you very much for clarifying
All right.
my questions.
I appreciate it, Gary. Good luck in the Augusta flight. We'll see you there.
Okay, mate. Look forward to it.
Take care.
Cheers, bud. Good night.
Good night. So, Tim, I just got the evil eye that dinner's ready. Anything else we need to talk about here?
No, I think that sums it up. Actually, it's probably better that we chose different courses because that'll give us one more check on we're playing the right people in the right match.
That's right.
But yeah, I think this is good. If anybody's watching this back, feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns. Again, this is the first time we're going through it. Kyle's put a lot of work into the logistics of it, so good work there. And then, and we know it won't be perfect, but we're trying.
Yeah, and we'll always, if we have any type of glitch, we'll override it. If like some handicap somehow got messed up or so forth, we have all the scores and all the records and everything. We can go into the Google Sheet and adjust stuff. But we've double, triple checked, so I'm fingers crossed that we got no problems there. But yep, I wish I had a screenshot ready of GS Pro, but it's like any other tournament. Everybody should have a bunch of matches loaded, and it should say the match number in the title of the event. It should also show the course. So just double check that, and we should be good. Tim, I appreciate it, man. Hope you have a good evening. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.
Yep, absolutely. Catch you later, guys.